Oh, hello everyone. This is the 365 Message Center show, and this week on episode 322, we have some news about lists and the new form experience, some good things around controlling what is there and what is not. The Message Center experience, I don't know, people trying to do us out of a job. There's a few things that are going to optimize the way messages are being read and displayed. We're going to talk about that. Let's talk about that. And lastly, the Answers in Viva content is going to appear in Microsoft Search. Isn't that fantastic? Answers in Viva all the way. Episode 322, starting in 3, 2, 1, now. And we're back. Not that we went far.
No, and I like that countdown. Starting now, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, well, 3, 2, 1 was the last episode. Yeah,
that was last week. I don't know why you did that. You should have done 3, 2, 2. Yes, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 322. We've got a lot of messages this week. We're trying to bring lots of value, as we say around here. So make sure you. If you like this episode, like and subscribe and hit us up on our socials at 365MCS. Leave us a comment. People have been leaving I love comments and reacting to those. So definitely do that. We'd love to interact with you.
Definitely. Yeah. So can I say it this time? So Daniel, why don't we just dive right in, because we do have a lot to cover. How about that?
Yes, let's do it. And the first one, is a pretty quick one, although it could be kind of devastating to you. I don't know. It depends on how you work. But Microsoft Publisher will no longer be supported after October 2026. MC 716267. Now, it is February of 2024, okay? So we do have 2.5 years of using Publisher. So this is one of those, yes, they're going to stop supporting Publisher, but you have 2.5 years to use it and be fully supported. And then, even then, if you have the product installed or you've bought the non-cloud version or whatever, you can use that probably forever. I don't know. So don't freak out. But this, is a product that I think a lot of people use. Maybe not in the majority, but a lot of people have used it. I could see why maybe, with some tools that have come out like Microsoft Designer and others, maybe it's kind of taken the place of this. Word even has a lot of features that, you can use to make formatting and all that. So anyway, so, it's come time to set this one and a sail in the sea of forgetfulness, I don't know. They're getting rid of it in 2.5 years. Okay. Let's just keep saying that. So this is, something that is not rolling out or anything like that. It's just one of those things where it's going to happen October 13th. I don't know why they picked that date, but October 13th, 2020.
That's when old Joe from the last member of the publisher team is retiring.
Old Joe. Why are you calling him old?
I don't know.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Know a few old Joes around here, don't we?
Yeah, I guess.
We'll stop right there.
Yes. So, just be aware of that. I know there's lots of fans. If you're a fan of Publisher, drop us a comment down below and tell us. I'd love to see you.
Do more than drop us a comment. What we want you to do is create a publication. A tribute.
A tribute using Publisher.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so I'd like to start. Let's switch gears here and go to Teams. We haven't had a Teams message in a while. So
long.
Let's make this happen. Is this verified, this message?
It's verified. What was I going to say? Vilified, verified. I don't know. There's other words to it. Whatever. It's got the blue tick, the green tick, the whatever tick. Whatever they're doing these days. Oh, side comment. I went through the LinkedIn verification process. Have you done that? Where you scan your passport and it Yeah?
Indeed.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Very clever. So that's not this. Microsoft Teams updated labels for external participants in a meeting, MC716008. When you attend a meeting today, you have people in your organization, you have people that are external, and then you have people that might be joining from just putting their display name in and hitting, yep, I'm going to join. And so that third group are going to get a label called unverified. So that's, I guess, another security layer, or rather visual indicator that a certain number of people will be on your meetings, and you can clearly see whether you've got a relationship with them or not.
That's the big key there, right, Daryl? Because it's not just those people who are joining anonymously. It could also be from a company, right? My company and Daryl's company. We're in a meeting together. If you haven't set up a trust, or you've set it up to where you don't trust and you have to be explicit, and we haven't set that up, then I'll be shown as unverified in Daryl's meeting.
Yeah. So yeah, but don't be too surprised when you see that, because now we've told you.
Well, that's why we're covering it, right, Daryl? Because I think a lot of people are going to start seeing this and don't want them to freak out.
Yeah, and they're going to ask, where can I get verified? I wonder if it's going to come across as feeling a bit offensive. Like, oh, what do you mean unverified?
Yeah, I don't know.
You invited me to this meeting. Come on now. You published this link to the public.
Yeah.
Standard release will be rolling this out mid-February 2024. Expected to be complete March 2024. And other area. Oh no, I'm not going to read the rest of it. You can, but that's roughly the dates. Mm-hmm. We're trying to keep this short because we've got lots to talk about. Daniel's going to take us into a topic a little bit deeper because there's a lot more to talk about it. He's got a list.
I do have a list, and it'll soon have a form. Microsoft Lists New Forms Experience, MC716006. This is something that I really think it's addressing a need that we have been using products for SharePoint lists for so long to make this happen. First, I think it was, we're using SharePoint Designer to do this, which was, we had a form, you would go in and edit the new form, in SharePoint Designer, and we would remove fields, remove those columns so people wouldn't see them when they were filling it in. InfoPath filled a void here where you could, create a form. Power Apps is another, where people would create a Power App just to remove one column, from the form so people wouldn't fill it in. We also had formatting in lists, right? So you could format the form, the entry, and so you could actually remove columns there that way. So I don't know, what did I just name? 3, 5, something like that. Anyway,
about 4.
Yeah. So this is something we've been trying to do, and this is coming as a native experience. Yay! For you to be able to create a form and be able to say, I have 10 columns in my list, and I want 5 of them to be on this form, and I want to share this form with anyone. I don't want to give them edit permission. I want them to just fill out this stinking form. So you can send it to them, and they'll fill that out. It'll save into the list, and then you can fill in the other 5 columns, after they have filled it in. So this, back in the day, I'll admit it, I created someone wanted they were going to implement a help desk system, but it was months and months away. And they wanted to do just a really cheap, really quick help desk system, and we did it in lists. And this is how we did it, right? You don't want to have the person entering in information to set the ownership of who owns the task, or all of that kind of stuff. You just want to fill out what is the problem, and then on the back end or the management part of it, I want to sign this task to someone. I want to say,
great example.
In progress or completed. Those are columns I want to enter in. So this will allow you to do that. Here's the form, fill out, create a ticket, and then we'll manage it. We'll enter in the other information in the columns. So this is you cannot share the form with different permissions, meaning I can't share it and say, well, you can only read. I don't know why you would do that, but you can't, edit. You can't open up an item and edit in this form or whatever. So, just be aware, there is only kind of one link, and you have to, the permissions of sharing with anyone has to be turned on in your tenant. So if the site doesn't allow sharing with anyone, then it won't work. So there's a couple things here, Daryl, though, that I have questions about, if I may, and you let me know if these are questions or concerns I have, if they're worth being concerned about. The first is required metadata. So in the scenario I just gave, when someone fills in a help desk ticket, and again, there's lots of ways, uses for this, but fills in a help desk ticket, I think, you would have other required columns that they're not going to see. So when they fill in those 5 fields, let's call it, and they save it, can I have required fields that are not on the form? I think we will be able to, because we can do that today. You can save content without filling in required information. It just says, hey, missing required information on that item. I mean, am I, kind of shooting at...
No, that is fair to be concerned about and worth mentioning.
Yeah, I just hope that, that it does allow us to do that. I want to be able to do that. The second big question I have is, what is the destination? And how does this work in that I'm sharing this form out to you? What I'm assuming is going to happen, I get an email, I click the button, it opens up the form. But where does it open it up? Is it just going to open it up in Outlook, or does it open it up in a browser? And is it in the list that it opens? Meaning, if I'm sending them a form to fill out, I don't want them to see the list, right? And this is something that we did back in the day. You would, when you were creating the form, like in SharePoint Designer, or you're creating a link, someone clicked on to the new form of a SharePoint list, and when they clicked complete, you had a question mark equals source, or question mark source equals, and then you would put a URL of where you wanted them to land. And so when they clicked the link, they filled out the form, the source was the landing page you wanted them to go to. They said, thank you for filling out the form, blah, blah, blah. And then it would take them, when they submitted, that's where they would go. All right, so that was a little trick. Is that what's going to happen here? They click submit, and it just says thank you, and they just close it and it goes away? I hope so. I've said all that. Daryl, is that something to be worried about, or am I just...
No, it's a good question to ask. Yep. Which we'll have the answer in a little while, but
yeah.
I think you're leading to, you don't want people to see the list sit in there in the background when they close the form. You want it to be quite a friendly, isolated experience. They fill the form out. Good, thanks very much. Close.
Yeah. And I think, this is, using it in this way is making Microsoft Lists be that data source, where we're gathering information and storing it. And so I need the users, if I'm going through the trouble of sending them this form that doesn't show data, all the data, I'm just capturing the data I want to capture, I don't want them then to see the list and see all the data. So anyway, we'll see, because this is rolling out late February, so in a week or two maybe, and completed by mid-March for targeted release, and then standard release, GCC, GCC High, DoD, US Sec, and US NAT. Begin rolling out mid-March, be completed by late April. So I'm excited about this. Like I said, we've been doing this with all different types of products. So I like seeing this come as an experience that they're bringing, first, using the experience in SharePoint or in Microsoft List, I guess. So, Daryl, you mentioned our jobs are in jeopardy.
They absolutely are, right? People will not have to watch or listen to the show, which is why, we should stop encouraging people to subscribe or to like the video.
I hope you're being cheeky. I hope
for the listeners of the podcast, Daryl is winking. This is an update, a good update to the message center. That when you open up a message, it's going to look a little different. Message Center Experience Updates, MC715701. Let's talk terminology here, because we actually don't even call things by these names. What is a flyout, Daniel, when we open up the Message Center?
What is it, or what is it? Okay. It's the message. You click on the message and
Correct.
The message flies out from the side. Yeah.
And over the top of the message list. Yes. So that's the flyout. What is the summary, Daniel?
It's the top of the message.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have the format of the message, and maybe you're looking at this now with us, people, as we've got this on the screen, of course. But there's message summary, and then we have a area about where it happens, what it will happen, how it will affect your organization, some pictures, links, and various things. There's also some categorizing information at the top of the message, like what service is this, what tags are available, and those things like when it was published and when it was last updated. So as you're seeing on screen, and for those who are listening to this, the message format for the flyout, it looks like it's going to get wider. It's going to have a left body that's where the content will be, and you'll have a summary at the top. They've given us an example here where, apart from the title and the usual buttons like copy, the link, and share, directly below that is a summary inside a grey box. It is a paragraph, a solid block of text. And I joked with Daniel that maybe it was generated by a co-pilot for Message Center. We'll see. Then you've got the rest of the message as you would normally expect, and all the extra bits and pieces that help you categorize and understand what this message is, whether it's relevant to you, what applications it relates to, the message ID, the roadmap IDs, all that kind of stuff that's sitting down the side on a right sidebar, which is good. I think that's a good improvement. Does mean, Daniel, when this arrives, one, do we still have a job? Is this co-pilot for Message Center, which I'm completely making an assumption here, is that going to do this out of a job?
No, and I want to make sure we're perfectly clear here. Daryl said like assumption. He's totally making this up.
I am.
I've never heard.
I'm hallucinating.
Co-pilot for Message Center. I've never. Yeah. So totally making that up. We don't have any inside information there.
No.
It's a made up thing. But I understand why you're saying it and why you said that. Because of the summary section, it feels like it could be the summarize this content and create a paragraph, and it goes with some run-on sentences. It looks like maybe from the example here, but yeah,
could be.
I don't know. It's a summary, and I can think through some reasons why you would want to do this, but there's a summary, and then right below it is what we used to call the summary.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I do like the right side stuff, like you were saying.
Yeah, that's good.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's we're looking at an example. It might not necessarily be the final product of the content.
Well, they chose this example. I mean,
true.
We just have to go with what they put in there, and I'm not a huge fan of the summary. I'm just not. But maybe it's a needed thing. I don't know.
I think, based on this, especially with because I'm the guy that takes the screenshots and I'm using the tenant and targeted release mode, that it's rolling out mid-February and expected to be complete early March, maybe next week or even the following week. We'll see this message as they intend it based on this. Standard release will see it early March and be completed late March. And moving along, I've given you some answers on this. What?
I know. I just came up with a great transition that you could do.
Oh, no, you do it. You do it. Go ahead.
No. It's not the way it's supposed to work.
Oh, okay. So tell me what I should say, and then I'll say it.
Okay. That sounds like a married couple, like having.
No, it sounds like a.
Just tell me what I'm supposed to say.
No, it was a video of I saw recently of a guy, and I don't know if he actually was blind or whether he was joking about it, but he was reading the Oscars, and you might present, and you got like a couple of people that are helping present that Oscar, and they each take turns to announce it.
Right.
And both of them read off a teleprompter. Well, one of the guys was blind, so the guy beside him was telling him what he should say.
Oh man!
And then he would repeat it, and then they joked about it. So I think it was a gag. It was a bit, but
sure.
It was interesting. So Daniel, tell me what I should say.
No,
well, you said it.
I was just thinking, we're talking about change in the message center, and then you could create an answer. You could ask question, what is this new thing? And there could be an answer, and someone would go search for it, and it would show up. I see. It's just not as good if I have to explain it. You
have to explain. It's like explaining a joke, isn't it?
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Answers in Viva content in Microsoft Search, MC 715700. The title, you read that title, and some of you may go, wait a minute, are you telling me that answers were not in search results? And this is exactly, from me, this is exactly what I expected when answers became a thing, which is discoverability being smooth, easy, in the flow of work. I do a search, and search goes, oh, you're searching on a topic, no pun intended here, a topic of sorts, some acronym or something. There's a question about that acronym, and someone has answered it. Well, show that in the search results as well, right? So that I don't have to go to answers in Viva to find information about this. I just do a search, and it gives me documents along with, hey, here's a question someone has asked about this. Click it. So this is kind of along the same functionality, well, not functionality, but same kind of thread of Q&A, right? In Microsoft Search, you can go in and create basically the Q&A. Say, lots of people are searching for this thing. Well, let's create a question and answer section, and it shows up at the top, right? This is kind of, in that same line, but with answers in Viva. So it doesn't have to be curated. It's a automatic experience where people are asking questions and answering it, and things have been marked as best, and poof, it shows up in search.
It's fantastic.
I think it is. I think it's fantastic for those organizations using answers. You need to have some licensing going on for people to be using it. We're not going to jump into that, but basically this is questions that have been answered in answers in Microsoft Viva, which we all hopefully will know that's part of Engage, right? But it's a special section of Engage, but also communities in Viva Engage. We talked about this recently, about answers coming into communities and not having to be in that central location. So that all of this, both of those will be included in this. So terribly excited. I really am. I think this is what, in my mind, this is what it should always have been, and probably was the target. And so we're getting it. When, Daniel? Public preview is early March and completed by late March. And then standard release would be early March, expected late March. So you may be asking yourself, why would they differentiate that? I don't know. I have a guess. Do you want to hear my guess, or do you just want me to keep going?
Ask the question in the portal.
Right, ask why. I feel like maybe this was a copy-paste and they didn't edit the dates.
Yeah, oops. We might see them updated soon.
Maybe. So, as far as the dates are concerned, I wouldn't rely on that, strictly. But the faster you can get here, the better, I think. So I'm okay with that. That message was not optimized for the dates. that was sharing when it was rolling out, but maybe we need to optimize our video.
Yeah, maybe. And this feature comes to you sponsored by our Teams, the product that we use often. Optimized video setting for screen sharing. MC715695. If you've ever tried to share a video from your desktop in a Teams meeting, you'll know that it doesn't appear as you would like. Sometimes, first mistake, you probably didn't turn the audio on, right? So, which is just the same as muting yourself and then trying to talk for 3 minutes. So you try to share this video, you forget to turn the audio on, I'll turn the audio on, you click play again, and it's, do it with me, Daniel. Yeah. So again, our podcast listeners, we're having to do a lot of describing this week, but it's very jumpy. There are missing frames, so videos are not optimized for the best experience. The current best way to do that is you use PowerPoint Live and you put your video in there. And that way it's a local experience. Cool. But what if you've got a large video? Or what if it's, via other means? This feature is about optimizing the shared desktop experience for playing video. And maybe I'd call it a boost for video priority, right? But like we have something like that where we can raise the audio quality for, let's say you're taking a class and it's all about focused on playing instruments and there's a higher quality bandwidth for audio. Similar kind of thing, but for video, it's not really going into that detail here, and I'm sure we could find out, but it's likely that it's a boost and it's going to raise the frame rate. The message says that this should actually happen automatically. I haven't even found that. But if it isn't, then presenters can use this button to optimize for playing video. I suggest if you are going to play a video and you're a presenter, you've got that planned, use it at the ahead of the meeting. But we get to see what how that affects your performance or rather the way that you receive the meeting. Because the more frames that we push across the video, the more information has to come to your side, and that might be a problem for some with bandwidth. Anyway, Daniel, I was keeping it reasonably short. I think I've gone over short. But that's the gist of that message. And targeted release rolling out early March, expected to complete mid-March. And standard release is actually different in this message. It's mid-March through to late March. Moving on to...
let's chat.
Huh? It is chat. It is chat. Yeah. Let's do that.
Microsoft Teams chat for organizers and presenters in Town Hall. MC715693. This is, again, I read this and I'm like, of course, this is exactly what we need, right? You're having a town hall, you're having your presenters and your organizers, and you need to kind of have hey, what about, we need to make sure, let's switch this and this, or let's jump to this section, we're running out of time, we got to do, instead of having that in front of everyone, having a chat with just those presenters and organizers to say, okay, we need to do this. Make sure, don't forget to make this point. Have that kind of chat on the side, outside of where everyone sees, is a great thing. And I know there are people have been doing it. They've just been doing it outside of the town hall. They're just having a separate chat, that they create with those people, and so instead of making it complicated, Microsoft's going to try to make it easy. So there's going to be, while you are, it's basically a chat. They're going to create a new chat instance for those people instead of you manually having to do it. And within the town hall experience as well, there's going to be a new tab in the chat experience for organizers and presenters that will show that conversation going. So you can have it right there, make sure you organize and keep everything going smoothly and not having to really do the organizing bit in front of everybody, right? Be able to have that content or conversation outside of that. So I'm a big fan of this one. and I like seeing this, coming. When you're, of course, you have to set up your presenters and your organizers in when you're creating the town hall, and it's going to use that to create the chat. So that's rolling out early March, mid-March, completed for those targeted release customers, and then standard mid-March to late March. So lots of March stuff rolling out. So we know what that means, right, Daryl?
We're marching forward to the last message.
Okay, but it also means that it's not going to hit those deadlines. I'm just going to tell you right now. So many things being released at the same time. Some of them are not going to make the deadline. just going to tell you. Daryl, I know you're excited about the next one. Talk to me about why in the world you care about SharePoint embedded containers.
Well, yeah. First of all, it's a large title, so I'll let you read it, and then I'll wait for you for 5 minutes, and then I'll explain. Sorry. This is about SharePoint embedded containers, and that you'll be able to administer them through SharePoint Admin Center. What is Microsoft SharePoint Embedded? Previously known as Syntax Repository Services. Yeah, I got there. I see I'd already extinguished it from my memory. It is another form of SharePoint, leveraging all the goodness of SharePoint for storage, for apps, for metadata, for security, compliance, etc. But another way of describing it is headless SharePoint, that it is not the same team sites, communication sites. Yes, Daniel's hiding his head. It is really meant as a place for applications that could be developed to leverage SharePoint as a file storage repository and get all that goodness that's sitting there. And one of the key apps that is using that, one of my favorites anyway, is Microsoft Loop. That's where our workspaces are stored. When we create a workspace and we invite people to it and we create pages in a workspace, that's where it's stored. There are other applications that use it too. I think Designer uses it to some capacity. And I forget the other one as a first-party app. So the message is that we haven't been able to administer these spaces in SharePoint Embedded. We haven't had the visibility of what those spaces are, where they are, who owns them, who has access to them, their various different roles. In the case of Loop, there is an owner, which is the person who created the workspace. You're going to see that in this new area in SharePoint's Administration Center. And that SharePoint Administration Center has this dedicated area for the SharePoint embedded sites. It's first release, and I'll kind of finish on this, Daniel. It's quite basic in that you'll be able to see a list of these different spaces, or rather, should call them containers, for within the admin center. You'll be able to view that list, see some details about them, creation dates, owners, labels if there are labels applied to them, and this is probably more significant, I think, to Loop especially, but you'll be able to soft delete a container, which is a workspace, and restore it. That's good, because sometimes people are mistakenly deleting their workspaces and then having trouble trying to get it back. Admins can do that now. But that's it for now, Daniel. It's not like there are other administrative capabilities. I'm sure that'll come eventually. I'm glad to see, to be honest, if you think back about the number of features that have been released that are first of all PowerShell with no graphical UI, and you're expected to use this PowerShell command, and then the UI comes out a year later, at least they're releasing it with a UI today.
Yeah, and you can manage the containers with PowerShell. But I think you're right. This is first version, hopefully, and we're confident that we'll be getting more features, because it really is the only thing you can do is delete and restore. here. You can view, and I don't count that as doing. But that's good information, though, right, Dara? I'm not trying to diminish that. It is good information to see all of this stuff and see how many there are and who the owners are and all that. But we're looking forward to having even more functionality. To be part of this.
So in the comments and in feedback.microsoft.com, let us know what you would like to see. Other things to be able to administer in here, being able to assign new members, being able to change membership or ownership, all those sorts of things. So this is a public preview rolling out early March, expected complete late March, and standard release mid-April, and expected to be complete early May. And that's our last message. Another colossal show delivering masses of value, and you know what to do. We've told you a few times, if you haven't already. Share this, like it.
Oh, you'll share it.
Yeah, subscribe. Yes. Tell all your friends to subscribe. We're so close to becoming 1,000 subscribers, and then we can elevate our capabilities on this lovely channel. We thank you for joining the journey with us on this, and thanks for joining us this week on episode 322.
Thank you so much. Bye for now.